Hey guys, this is William. Another video for Play-agricola.com's YouTube channel and twitch.tv/play_agricola. Playing an EIKWmFrance deck. That's it. EIKWmFrance with maruskaK, Moozapan, and Idyllwild. And maruska's streaming at twitch.tv/maruskaK. Opening pack. This is quite junk. This is really bad. Gardening Enthusiast has some hands that it can go pretty well with, or I could grab 24601. 24601 is pretty much always going to get played. Like, I pretty much will always play it in 13 or 14. But Gardening Enthusiast is an okay start as well. Like, there are some pretty good combos with Gardening Enthusiast, so I think I'm gonna, with my first pick, hope for the upside of Gardening Enthusiast to be good. Hello, you linger. So, got Undergardener, Schnapps Distiller here. Yeah, Undergardener is like not great with Gardening Enthusiast, but Undergardener Schnapps Distiller is a 2-card combo that's decent. There's also Fieldsman here, so like Fieldsman can kind of do neat stuff with Gardening Enthusiast. Another not great hand. I'll just take Eris, I think. Second pick Eris, and maybe it lets me jump in the family growth queue. Hmm. Got Manufacturer, Sunrise Admirer, Fiddler. There is Wood Distributor for Amazon, something to keep in mind. With Eris, I'm probably trying to build, so I'm taking resources, so maybe not a great Fiddler game. So I'll grab Sunrise Admirer here. Yeah, Eris and Fiddler are just not good because you can't, with Fiddler, you can't take a whole turn off of, and with Eris, you can't take a whole round off of taking resources if they're good resource piles. Man, getting maximally punished for my Gardening Enthusiast pick. So many crops in the draft. Could definitely take Seed Seller here. I do like Prosecutor a ton. I am a big fan of Prosecutor. Sure. I do like Prosecutor a lot. So with Prosecutor and Eris, I'm just thinking take good resource piles all of stage one. That's my goal. Just get good resource piles. Hmm. So if I don't have to spend stone on my majors, I could take Stone Carver here. Or I could go with Tanner. I think I'm going to take Stone Carver. I don't have any real plan of how I'm going to feed yet, so we'll grab Stone Carver here. So probably not Fieldsman. There are miners that would make me want to sow early with Gardening Enthusiast, but I think I would. It's not all that likely I would play Fieldsman to do that. Um, hmm. Jumping to sow gonna be a thing that I want to do. I mean, maybe I do a baking strategy to feed. There's also Schnapps Distiller here, and I know I'm passing that to maruskaK, right? Who'll be on the day labor strat. I mean, if maruskaK's on the day labor strat, then it's less likely that he'll be on the. Oh, Fiddler's still here. Also, Clay Deliveryman. Clay Deliveryman's not bad with Eris. Hmm. I do like Fiddler. Do like Fiddler. I think I'm going to take Clay Deliveryman, though. All right. Well, writing desk, clay hut extension, ceramics. Those are the three cards I'm keying in on. Um, yeah, I mean, my hand's not great. It's not great. Like Stone Carver. So let's say I play Stone Carver stage 1. I play Eris in round 5. Well, that means Prosecutor is waiting until after writing desk comes out, and that's like pretty late. Or I play Prosecutor and then I use Writing Desk for 4, 5, and potentially 6, 7. But I have Clay Deliveryman here, so do I want to do that? Not really sure that I want to do that. I like Clay Hut Extension a ton with Prosecutor. Maybe what I do is I just dump Eris and I play Clay Hut Extension Prosecutor and try to build a clay room for the cost of only 2 clay. That's something I could do. There's also ceramics here, and ceramics is very solid. Okay. I like Beanfield here with Countryman, even if I don't actually play it or don't actually sew onto it. Par Force Hunting's okay. Apprenticeship's not bad as well, actually. Apprenticeship is not bad. Like playing Prosecutor with Apprenticeship on Family Growth, and then all of a sudden you've grown your family, you've got Prosecutor in play, and presumably you have fewer improvements than every other player. That can lead into some pretty interesting stuff. So, but I mean, Beanfield is a lot better than Apprenticeship. I'm hoping to wheel Apprenticeship, I suppose, even if it's not all that likely to happen. Okay, I could lean into the baking thing and grab cookies here. There's also Strawberry Patch, which would be an okay option. Do I want Beehive? Beehive is very good. Beehive is very good. It's a bit awkward with Prosecutor, but it is very good. Um, what do I want to do here? I'm gonna take cookies, I think. And with cookies, like I have the idea now of a grain, some kind of baking strategy. Wow, lettuce patch here, loom, and park cemetery. Holy cow. So park cemetery is pretty good with prosecutor because of course you can discard it and you also get stone. Um, loom is very good. Lettuce patch is very good as well. This is a very, very good pile. Uh, Wood-fired oven for 2 resources cheaper could be quite good, especially if I'm playing cookies, doing some kind of baking line. Um, hmm. I think I'm gonna lean into the baking line here and grab the wood-fired oven, which feels. Oh, I could. You know what? I'm gonna grab the village well, actually. Yeah, I'm gonna grab the village well, and with prosecutor, the village well is pretty fantastic. Because you make the well for 1 wood, 1 stone, and then you upgrade it, and then you haven't increased your improvement count, so you should be able to rebuild the well again. It seems unlikely that I play any of these. There is the wood distributor, so maybe basket is a thing. Or not basket, sorry, raft. But I'll grab animal feed, I suppose. And I did wheel apprenticeship. Good. So then the plan is apprenticeship into reedstone food. So that's how I get my stone. Now maybe it means I don't have enough stone for stone carver, but we'll see. Not having not having taken grain cellar is feeling pretty bad, or seed cellar. Because if I am doing the countryman grain jump to bake thing, well, you know, the 1 grain space is still not a great space. But my thinking is play Gardening Enthusiast, do it the first time, and then when you grain jump to sow bake, you bake 1 grain, sow a grain in a vegetable. 1 grain on a field, random field, 1 grain onto 1 vegetable onto bean field. And then after that, grain jump to bake with cookies ends up being fine. Because then your goal is to never bake any of the 3 grain. Your goal is to bake the thing that you've gotten off of the countryman. Hmm. Is this a hand that plays flower pots? It fits in very awkwardly with Prosecutor. I think this is not a hand that plays flower pots, but I'm not sure if Bonfire is what I want either. I mean, maybe I steal a sheep grab with Bonfire, but everybody's seen it. Is Wild Breeding good here with Prosecutor? I don't know that I'm going to build a hearth. All right, so I'm starting fourth here. Yeah, I don't really want to play Prosecutor round one if I can avoid it. Playing Stone Carver with my plan to build the well and upgrade to the village well is a bit dangerous. Yeah, I'm a big fan of giving power numbers to new players because, like in anything that you're drafting, it just lets them focus on the important cards. Like, you don't need to read um, you don't need to read Countryman really carefully when it's like the fifth best card in the pack. You don't need to compare a Countryman to the best card in the pack. You only need to compare the best two or three cards against each other. Um, and so it's just a way to like, because draft is kind of inherently overwhelming in terms of the amount of information that it gives you. Um, giving new players the power numbers lets them focus on like the three or four. You give them the power numbers and you just say focus on the three or four best cards in the pack. You don't have to focus on every single card. You just have to focus on the three or four. And for Agricola, I would say look at the best three is usually a decent thing, unless there are a couple that are really close. Like if picks 3 through 5 are really close, then maybe you have to think about it. But normally I should be start playing, but I want to make this apprenticeship work, so I'm gonna grab a green here. And I think I'm gonna do a baking strategy, so grabbing the first grain. Maybe I just don't play Countryman, but that first grain gets baked. And with Prosecutor, building oven should be not that difficult. I have to say, he passed the first test though. He announced his card in chat. That's the first check. So obviously did maybe do a little bit of reading or a little bit of practice, so that's good. Yeah, that's a good point, Yellinger. Yellinger says, I think an important added value for beginners is that by choosing powerful cards, they will learn to play them better. I agree. And the other thing is beginners have an inherent disadvantage because they don't know how the game works. Um, Beginners naturally have an inherent disadvantage in terms of play skill. And then what often happens when you add drafting into that, that's just another element for the beginner to make mistakes. So you're starting your best player, the better players with better hands, and you're starting the newer players with worse hands. And then they're having to then overcome that in the play where the regular game play where they already are at a disadvantage. So I think it's like just start them with good cards, just start them with the best hand, like a framework for what the best hand is. Yeah, and the other thing too is often new players will try to do things that are not really that good because they'll draft cards and say, "Oh, this is a thing to do." But if you force them to not draft the bad cards but to draft the good cards, well, then in the process of doing the thing, in the process of doing the, I think I'm going to start player apprenticeship here in the process of doing the thing where you're playing the I'm gonna play Stonecarver since a bunch of players haven't done anything with played any improvements yet. So then the other thing is if you just give them a decent hand, then if they try to play out that hand, they're more likely to do things that are correct than if you give them a bad hand and they try to play out that hand. For example, like when I taught someone, like he would start doing a lot of like build two stables so that he could get a breeding pair of sheep going, but then would never get any fences at the end of the game because he had spent his wood mid game, and then it didn't feel right good to take wood and then fence more, and comparing that to just what, and then you have to say, well, instead of having taken these, what am I supposed to do here? Do I play prosecutor here? I don't really want to play prosecutor here. Maybe I just play guarding enthusiast, get it down. And so that and the thing is that if you gave him a card that was like whole like sheep's whistle or whatever. Oh, you can hold two extra sheep in a stable. Oh, awesome. I'll build a bunch of stables and hold sheep in those stables. Well, that's not really something that you actually want to do. And that card doesn't really make it worth doing. But if you're not sure what's worth doing and what's good or what's not, then that's a problem. Idyllwild start player animal yard. All right. So Idyllwild gets the breeding pair of sheep going here. Can grab the 2 reed, so then I can get the 3 wood. Or I can read stone food. Oh, Idyllwild's taking wood. Was Clay Roof in the draft that I'm forgetting about? I feel like Clay Roof must have been in the draft and I've forgotten about it. I want to take this reedstone food because I am concerned about Maruska building the well. I'm hoping that I can keep the well locked up for myself long enough that I can get Prosecutor out first. Because upgrading the village well and then rebuilding the well and eating stone with Stonecarver, that's going to require a ton of stone. More stone than is realistic to get. It looks like, to me, though, Maruska is going to go for an oven with Conjurer Art Director. I would expect that Maruska Art Direct second action grabs a grain and then builds a clay oven. I'm going to play another occupation here. I could play Clay Deliveryman here. Really slow play this Prosecutor. I have Clay Hut extension, so like I think the Prosecutor is worth playing just because of the Clay Hut extension, and then also the Clay Deliveryman is worth playing because of the Clay Hut extension. I think he's going improvement to wood for room on 5. Sorry, I'm not sure what you're asking about Yellinger. Do I think Moozapan is going to do that? The other thing I should note is that I can grow with, if growth flips in 5, I can grow second with Eris. I can wood into Eris. It is family growth. Yeah, so I can get the second growth with Eris. And I will try for the clay room in 10. And then I'll try to play clay hut extension as well. Is somebody going to play expensive Ock? It seems unlikely that someone will expensive Ock. I think I get to take 4 wood here. When I get 2 wood. I wasn't sure. I mean, I think Brusca will want to make the clay oven, but if family growth didn't flip in 5, Maruska was going to build into clay oven. And if, since family growth flipped, Maruska was going to build into grow. His clay oven is not really threatened, Yellinger. Sorry, I think maybe I'm not really following. His clay oven is not really threatened, and I don't expect him to play like it is. Oh, yeah. I think if I had taken 2 wood, then I'm pretty sure Maruska would have built in round 4. It is possible that he would have traveling playered, but I'm pretty sure if I had taken 2 wood, he would have built in 4. And if he had built in 4, then my heiress is not good. The only reason my heiress is good here is because nobody built in 4. That lets 2 people build in 5, one of which is me, which guarantees growth for me in 6. Also, plow stone is absolutely an action I want with my stone carver. Hmm, is 2 stone right? I thought he was only supposed to have 1 stone. I can look at take resources, I guess. Yeah. I think he's only supposed to have 1 stone. So reed stone food here. I definitely want the reed, and I also appreciate the food. Um, yes. While getting 4 occupations out and growing second is a pretty fantastic spot to be in. It's a really fantastic spot to be in. So then, assuming Maruska builds the clay oven, I should be able to prosecute the well. And there is a world where I consider not playing an improvement here, because I think not playing an improvement will be similar to taking a stone, which I'm interested in doing. Although I could just play cookies. Yeah, I guess Brusca's a couple actions away from throwing his away, and if I think Moozapan is going to Reno improvement, then yeah, I can afford to play 1. Because yeah, it looks to me like Moozapan is setting up to Reno and build clay rooms. Forcing Idyllwild to build here, but it's a double build, so Idyllwild's not too unhappy. Go ahead and play Beanfield here. Hold my cookies for later. Clay Mixer is a card I never play, and I'm sure it's not very good, but in theory it should be good. I think the problem with Clay Mixer is that pure clay actions are just like, so you have to compare it to Clay Cellar or Clay Digger, whatever the one is that gives you an extra clay when you take wood or clay. And you have to recognize the fact that taking clay is just not something you usually want to do that many times. One of the reasons is when you decide that you're going to build a clay room instead of a wood room, well, if Reno flips after family growth, automatically you just fall in, 2 or 3 places in the family growth queue. The other thing is the clay spaces are just not that good in general. Um, yeah. Like if clay mixer is 8 clay, okay. Well, the thing is, if you're playing clay mixer, you probably have a pretty clay heavy strategy. Well, that means you have to take the clay repeatedly at 4 clay because if you let it go higher, your opponents are going to take it, or your opponents are going to start taking 4 clay, and then your actions get worse. The thing is, just taking clay a bunch of times is just not that good of a thing to do. Like compared to clay house builder. Well, obviously, clay house builder gives 10 clay, but the thing is, the power of clay house builder is that you just don't have to take the clay action. And in some games, clay is super contested. Like when clay is really people are really hungry, clay is super contested. So first action should be 6 clay or 3 reed for me. Although the reedstone food's not bad. The 6 clay is appealing because of getting the clay room. The 3 reed, very similar. The thing is, I like the ooh. Just gonna mention to Idyllwild that you have to feed 6 this harvest because you have to feed the ram. Because the thing is, I like the reedstone food space, so I think the 6 clay is more important. Plus, this lets me do stuff like Reno this round. There's manufacture in the game. There is manufacture in the game. Yeah. Oh, of course. Idyllwild can eat both the sheep, eat 2 sheep, and it's fine. Right. That makes sense. Yeah, so Moozapan's got to build here because otherwise Mariska's able to build. I guess it is maybe possible for Moozapan to Reno and then build a clay room. The problem is if you Reno, you can't really spend any of your resources to make a major improvement, which I think is something Moozapan wants to do. Also, I am a bit surprised that Mariska is not playing more scared with his clay oven. I'm a bit surprised by that. That he's not playing more defensive with his clay oven. Because like I'm gonna reno clay oven second move, and then third action get reedstone food or plow in a stone, and be happy with either of those. Now the problem is if I do this, of course, prosecutor just got that much farther away. Yeah, my plan is to plow next action, and then I might get first move 6 wood. If I don't get first move 6 wood, I probably first move 4 reed and look at building a BMW. So I have enough clay right now for the clay room in 10. All I need is the 1 reed. So it's looking good. Looking quite good. The only problem that I'm worried about is having enough stone to get to my 5-room stone house. Because if I build a clay room with Eris and then I build a clay room with clay hut extension, and as long as I keep eating stone from my stone carver, getting to stone is a little dicey. But I think that's also kind of why I like the Reedstone food action, because or the Reedstone like building the BMW, because then the Reedstone food action just becomes the best space in the game for me. Bread cellar. Okay. Field should go over here for the Sunrise Admirer. I'm going to feed 3 food and a stone. Yeah, so Idyllwild's got to grow, so I'll grab the 4 reed. And then I don't have to bake this harvest if I build the BMW, because I can get by on stone plus reed. So then I can just sow my grain reed. Moozapan is role playing as the bread person in our little village. Oh, whoops, I was muted. Thank you, Wimble. Um, yeah, I take 5 food here because I want to take food off the table. With Idyllwild potentially growing to 5 in round 9, I want to take food off the table. Um, the other thing is Moozapan. I'm hoping that Moozapan will first move take the 3 sheep. And I was going to say that I think So is uncontested next round, but then Maruska just took 2 grain off of oh no, a 1 grain. But he has the ability to discard his Park Cemetery to get a second crop. Wow. Idyllwild's growing again. That's crazy. Alright. Yeah, I'm gonna start player first move, and I hope to get So Bake second action. Yeah, I'll Clay Hut extend here. Oh, no, I'm not gonna Clay Hut extend. Whoops. Not that. Ignore me. Whoops. Whoops, whoops, whoops. I just revealed my first pick for nothing. Oh, man. Yeah, definitely don't want to clay head extend because then I don't have clay to build the clay room. That was dumb. That was really dumb. Thinking about not this game related things. All right. So yeah, I want to get So Bake, and then I want 3 wood last action. Ruska might Reno well here. Hmm. So this is one of the things that I think new players struggle with, or that they just don't know, is that growing is really important. Getting your third family member is really important, and you just can't do all that much without your third family member. And the fact that he took that he let Idyllwild get the 3 sheep is also not a great move. He was definitely supposed to. He was definitely supposed to first move take the 3 sheep. So instead of BMW, I think, and 3 sheep, probably what he was supposed to do is try to double build clay rooms and make sure to take the 3 sheep. Murska gets the well, which hurts my village well. But yeah, so this is where you kind of they get sidetracked. Moozapan should have put a much higher premium on growing, trying to grow earlier. Now, having said that, might have got jumped anyways because of kind of the family growth queue has been a bit weird with Idyllwild triple growing. But when Idyllwild goes to triple grow, then your job as Moozapan is to take these 3 sheep so that Idyllwild at the very least starves this harvest without some feeding source of feeding, right? So I could play Sunrise Admirer here, or I could take 3 wood. Ooh, 2 4 6 0 1. All right, that's probably game for Idyllwild, most likely. But Murska's doing well, and I'm doing well as well. But five family members is tough. With 2 4 6 0 1, 5 family members is really tough to beat. Do I play bonfire? I think yes, I do. Probably just a wood for a point a lot of the time here, so I'm gonna play bonfire. Put it here, because then if I do a fifth field, it's here, and my room's here, and then I do a 2x2 fencing. Yeah, I think the first really big mistake was I don't think the game was going like crazily well for Idyllwild until he got the three sheep. Because I think growing in nine was a big risk. Start playing into growing in nine was a huge risk, but the reason it paid off was because Idyllwild got that second action three sheep. And Idyllwild should not have gotten that second action three sheep. That's the way um, that's where I think Moozapan made a mistake. And now Moozapan's sitting here with 11 clay and 3 reed. Instead of building the BMW, it would have been better to double build clay rooms here and have taken the sheep last round. And then I could have gotten the BMW. So that's kind of the ripples of that decision are being felt across the table. I probably want a Sunrise Admirer here because I kind of want a Sobake action next round. Do I? Maybe I don't. Oh, you know what? This bonfire's in a bad spot. Yeah, it's in a bad spot. Because once I play Sunrise Admirer, I would have to wait for it to complete before I could plow the fifth room. Yeah, it should be down here. Because then I Sunrise Admirer and I can plow this one field at any time. Yeah, it was just in a bad spot. And as I've talked about it before, when you build the BMW, when you build the pottery, you're supposed to convert every single harvest. Even if you don't need the food right at that moment, you will likely need the food in the future. Sowing next round is super good. Is it? If I get a plow action, maybe it's good. But if I don't get a plow action, sowing one vegetable is not that good. Or one grain is not that good. I like playing Sunrise Admirer here. Just especially because the board is just not really that good, but yeah, if I get last action plow here, then I'll sow next round. The other thing is sowing next round is not like it's probably better just to sow in stage 5 than to sow next round. The baking is a thing with cookies for sure, but I do have the stone ready to go, and I'll have actions that can afford to take food. Like I'll have 4 actions next round. So one of them could definitely be something that gets me food. Like building the pottery, for example. Well, not much for me to do here. I don't want to fence 4. I think I'm gonna take a grain here. It's like taking 5 food. I have 2 actions before maruskaK. I can so bake second move, and keeping maruskaK from baking this round would be pretty, or this stage would be pretty good. Ooh, he takes the 2 wood. I was thinking that I'd first move 2 wood into so, but hmm. Yeah. So I can 3 wood into so bake. Now he does have the well food coming in, so don't imagine it's that big of a deal. But yeah, it looks like Idyllwild is winning. Especially if since Idyllwild might get the 3 boar as well. Or it takes the 2 boar. Yeah. Grab the 3 wood. There's the beehive for maruskaK. So that's one of the reasons he didn't want to throw away his park cemetery as well. Did he first pick village elder or something? Why is this not loading? There we go. Oh, I have the thing where my mouse is offset. Uh-oh. Is it only on here? No. Or yeah, it looks like it's only on his farm in particular. What about on my farm? My farm, it looks fine. Yeah, it's just on his farm. That's weird. Weird. I think this is just garbage. I think I can remove this stuff. Oh, I'm sowing the grain instead of the vegetable. The vegetable is not really that important. Sowing the grain is absolutely more important. I'm not gonna sow one vegetable here. Looks like Mooza did not put the Greedstone. Call it out in specifically. Oh, Boston as well for Idyllwild. All right. And Undergardener got all the way to Idyllwild. So there was no Undergardener Schnapps Distiller combo. Interesting. Definitely expected to see that. Grab a cattle here. It's not too much for me to do. Waiting for 13 to start player clay hut extension. Yep. Yes. Which it also feels really bad that I revealed clay hut extension already. Oh, now I have to stop the game until I get this player to read and respond to chat. Like, I get he's probably overwhelmed reading other cards or whatever, but you have to read everything that goes through chat. You have to. Part of playing this game online. First move 3 stone. I would like a 3 stone action. Definitely. In fact, I will definitely first move 3 stone. Thing is, Idyllwild also wants the 3 stone, and maruskaK wants the 3 stone. So first move 3 stone is actually maybe really good here for Moozapan. I don't know. It might just be good for Idyllwild, to be fair. Although passing on Plowsow is pretty annoying for Idyllwild. The thing is, Plowsow is just okay for me. I really want the bake. I need a bake this round. I need 5 vegetables at the end. Yeah, that's okay. I'm gonna sow. I'm hoping to sow bake 2 more times because of cookies. So I want 12 wood defense, but 11 wood is only a 1 point difference. So I'll take the 2 wood here. Yeah, I got it. Good job. I should have 2 cookies marked. So I did last round and this round. Yeah, so usually with cookies, Yellinger, I want to sow grain as many times as I can because there's a chance that in round 14, I want to do a sow bake action where I bake as many grain as I can because of cookies. And then I can sow, maybe I have 3 vegetable fields with 5 total vegetables. That's what I'm thinking about. Is that with cookies, um, I might do something like that. So Maruska and Idyllwild both look like they can't afford to reno, which is good for me because it lets me eat a stone here and then take 2 stone in 14 to reno. Now Maruska can get 1 stone with his Oceanographer, so I do have to keep an eye on like if a Reedstone food action comes out or whatever. Wood-fired oven would be pretty good here. You need to bake. Yeah, so I think it's something I have to keep in mind that when I'm drafting Prosecutor, I have to keep in mind I might not play Prosecutor. That I think sometimes what I do is I draft Prosecutor and then say, all right, I'll draft my miners as if I'm going to play Prosecutor. And then someone like Maruska totally plays around Prosecutor, like refuses to play improvements. Not necessarily playing around it, but just that's a thing. So yeah, I think what I do here is I grab the 6 clay and build a fireplace. And then last action, take 3 food cattle. The other thing I could do is build the pottery, but I think the pottery is not good enough. I think I am building the fireplace because then the fireplace lets me bake 3 grain instead of just one next round for an extra 2 food and 2 cookies points. Hmm. So Mariska's a 2 stone action away from being able to reno. So if Moozapan does not reno here, that changes my calculus. Because Maruska could be in a position. Well, he can art direct as well. I should mention that. He could last move art direct. I'm pretty sure he's going to sow bake. Pretty sure what he's doing is setting up to discard his park cemetery, plow a field, get a vegetable, and then sow 3 grain and 1 veg. Pretty sure that's what's coming here. But it is possible that he's traveling players. Hmm. Yeah, so I guess what I do is if Maruska keeps me off of Reno, I just build the pottery. Yeah, and eat stone twice. Eating two vegetables in order to grow. No, Moozapan already grew. I'm not growing here. I'm taking cattle, I think. Assuming that Idyllwild doesn't take it, in which case I'm taking a boar. And if I take the boar, I kind of want to hold on to it because my goal is to hold one cattle, so that I can animal feed at the end of the game. But oh, Idyllwild is Amazoning. Okay, good. That's good. So I can take a cattle here and just eat it right away, and then I eat a stone. Eat stone, feed a. There we go. So bake 3 into 6 for 3 points on cookies. There we go. Yeah, and then I will build the pottery and family growth animal feed. And the animal feed is 1 point right now with the second cattle. But if Maruska lets me get 2 stone, then I will take 2 stone and Reno. It's up to Maruska. Plowstow is a pretty good move, but 2 stone and preventing me from renovating is also good. The worst case scenario, I don't reno and I don't get the pottery. That would be pretty bad. Mariska's taken the 2 stone, so I will build the pottery with my second move. I would love to get the 2 boar, but I might get the 2 boar with my third move. There's a world where Idyllwild can't really hold another type of animal. With Animal Yard, Idyllwild can hold 2 boar, but without fencing some more, then Idyllwild's kind of stuck. And I think Idyllwild will plow sow if it's there. So Moozapan Reno fencing here. So Moozapan is worried about getting his Reno fence in. Now, what you need to do as Moozapan is recognize that Maruska has no wood, and that it's very unlikely that Maruska will Reno with his second action. So this is where being able to predict what your opponents are going to do is a huge, huge edge. Then last move, 1 sheep or 2 boar, and then family growth animal feed. And then I return a vegetable and a grain. 5 clay is better than animals. The 5 clay is gone. Is it? It's 2 points. It's the same. 5 clay is the same. Because I don't need the food, I'm gonna eat a stone. Yeah, but I don't need the food. I just need the stone. I'm just gonna eat a stone. Also, plows 2 points. I have a bunch of 2-point moves. So what's the one that's most valuable to Maruska? Sheep is probably not a point to Maruska. Cattle is not a point to me. Plow is 1 point for Maruska. Block the plow space. Yeah, he's near his animal capacity, so that's why I think leaving animals on the board is not bad. So I have whatever I score plus 4 because I don't eat any points. Yeah, whatever I score plus 9. So 44. Return a grain and a vegetable. So 6 food and a stone to feed. Return GV. Get a cattle. So it should be 39 plus 5 for 44. Yep. Guess looks like Maruska's got that beat. He's got a very nice farm with the well and the stone oven. He's got better animal points. Yeah, he's already at 45 on the board. Idyllwild's at 47 right now. It's good. 51 plus. Yeah. So getting to grow was decent. I never really got my feeding sorted. I did way too many one grain actions. Um, yeah, so really get punished for not having taken seed seller to make all my grain actions better. And then of course, 5-room house that doesn't get to stone is a big problem. But I think the game losing play for me is where I grab the 4 reed instead of the reed stone food, and then the 3 of those reed are useless because a stone and a food would absolutely have been useful. Idyllwild 55. Big win for Idyllwild. Yeah, I think I'm probably done. Unfortunately, I waited an hour and a half. Yeah, so the thing is, I waited an hour and a half with Moozapan for a game, and 2 games started up afterwards because people did not want to play with new players, and that's really frustrating. So I'm probably just done. Yeah, I'm probably just done for the day. Yeah, his pace of play was good. Yeah. Nuska's at 50. Oh, of course, is Reno. That's right. Yes, Idyllwild definitely got some help. Like you can look at Moozapan's hand and say Bread Seller probably should not have been drafted. Bread Carrier probably should not have been drafted. There's probably no way that Idyllwild should have Boston and Patron. But that happens. That happens. So yeah, for me, the big problem was Prosecutor not doing anything. This was a game where I always wanted a 4 or 5 room stone house, and that I was relying on the Prosecutor saving me stone so that I could still build ovens, build the well. Obviously, I had the plan of the well and the village well for very cheap, but then that didn't work because some players didn't play improvements for a long time. So yeah, and especially with the stone carver as well. The stone carver was feeding me, but it was also eating my potential points, i.e., renovating. Like if I reno to stone and Maruska doesn't, for example, that's a swing in points between the two of us. But really, this is a game that was decided by Idyllwild getting to grow in 7, 8, and 9, and then also getting to eat the sheep as well and breed the sheep at the same time. And then the 24601 is just the nail in the coffin. The fact that Idyllwild also had 24601 just meant that if Idyllwild could feed, that he was going to win because the 24601 just gave him such ridiculous point ceiling. So I'm not too unhappy with how this went. I think I would have been in a much better spot if I had grabbed the 24601 myself. Because then when I grab Eris, then I'd be. Because like I kind of avoided the other crop givers because I didn't really want to do a baking game. And so Gardening Enthusiast is kind of the only source of crops that I really wanted. Um, so then if I hadn't drafted the Guarding Enthusiast instead of 24601, then I could have done a big house and I could have picked up Grain Cellar, and Grain Cellar would have been a lot better because then all my grain actions provide double the grain. So yeah, that would have been good. Um, yeah, I think that's gonna be it for me for today, unfortunately, guys, because I waited so long for that first game and does not look like there's going to be another game for a little bit. There's no one waiting, so I think I'm going to call it. I think I'm going to call it here. Thanks for hanging out, everyone. I will be back tomorrow. Hopefully do a couple games tomorrow. Hopefully don't have to wait too long for the first one. Um, yeah. Yeah, so a couple games tomorrow starting at around noon Eastern. We'll see you then.